Test, 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 test. You know what this is?
I told you.
Why would I get something like that?
I have no idea. Put it on notice.
Hmm?
Put it on notice or something.
Joyce, pass that to Eve and ask her to look that over for me, please.
Good evening, everyone. This is the City of Dania Beach CRA meeting on January the 14th. It is now 5:30 p.m. and I call this meeting to order. City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chair Davis,
Here.
Vice Chair Salvino,
Here.
Board Member Llewellyn,
Here.
Board Member Ramoli,
Here.
Board Member Ryan,
Here.
Executive Director Chen,
Here.
City Attorney Bootsis.
Here.
Chair, you have quorum.
Thank you so much, City Clerk. The next item is our citizens' comments. Do we have any comments from any of our citizens out here? Seeing none? Oh, yes, sir. Did you submit a form? Okay. Well, just come up and state your name for the record. We will need you to give a form to our city clerk.
Your beach. And I just want to know when you are going to stop letting these developers build these buildings. It's turning to metropolis. It's not a nice little quaint village or town anymore. It's traffic is ridiculous.
Did you state your address for the record?
121 Southeast Third Avenue.
Thank
right-
you.
Right behind Publix.
Thank you.
Okay, I mean, I went to the doctor yesterday in Fort Lauderdale, right on Davie and Andrews Avenue. It took me a half an hour. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, when these buildings are full, and I know you're planning on building from Griffin Road all the way to Sterling Road in the back here, when that project is done, forget it. I mean, I'll be dead by then, but you can't move here anymore. Right now, Federal Highway is, forget about it. It's a parking lot, and it's just gonna get worse. You don't have the roads equipped to handle all the cars that you have here. Everybody that lives in Hollywood that works in Fort Lauderdale races around. It's traffic's crazy. I mean, I don't know. But you just gotta stop letting these developers make all these big buildings, you know? That's it, I'm done.
Thank you so much for sharing your concerns. We will take them into consideration. Do we have any other public comments or any citizens' comments at this time? Seeing none, we will move on to the administrative report.
Thank you, Chair and CRA Board. Over the holidays, we attended the SCORE Broward annual recognition party, and the CRA was recognized as a supporter and partner of SCORE Broward. SCORE Broward continues to be the #1 SCORE franchise in the country, having produced more results than bigger markets like New York, Atlanta, Los Angeles, and Chicago. So we're part of a very vibrant and active region, if you will, for business support. I have mentioned to you in the past about our economic development, our business manager, Crystal. I also want to mention that Crystal brings some interesting dimensions to her that I hadn't known about before. For instance, she managed the social media program for FXE, and she's leading us to more and more frequent posts and heightened recognition as we go. She, frankly, every place she goes, she posts. And we're getting comments back on it, which is nice. I also want to mention that one of the priorities in our CRA plan, in fact, it's the only priority in our CRA plan that we have not yet addressed, is to create an inventory of the city and CRA businesses. Since actually writing this report, so this is why it's not in your existing report, but since then we have engaged a company called Blue Dot, who will provide us a comprehensive list of businesses in both the CRA and the city. It's based off the GIS shapefiles of the city and the CRA, and they get their information from Google, unlike some of the traditional resources. So anybody that's mentioned anywhere on Google, they get that, and they'll turn it over to us, and we'll get a very good picture of just how many businesses we have here. And it'll be provided with contact names and numbers, number of employees, and other information these companies tend to post on Google, which is a more comprehensive profile than you would get through most databases. So we're looking forward to that. We're actually having a launch meeting with them next week, and I can't wait to start telling you about the businesses that exist here. And that will be the last of our priorities in the CRA plan that have not been at least started. I have mentioned to you several times that the CRA website update has been completed. I hope that some of you had a chance to take a little tour through it to see what's going on. I can tell you, in my opinion, we have focused on better branding the city as a business destination to where we can justify attracting more businesses of different varieties. It also has a point to it as opposed to just being random information. It is also structured in a way that information in it is easier to find. And I would ask all of you to take a few minutes, take a look at what's going on. I think that, I hope that you'll have a very favorable opinion of our new CRA website. For the last thing on my admin report is the patch. And I want to ask Denise to come up and speak with you briefly. She's going to speak to something that occurred after, again, I was drafting this report, but Denise, I'll let you start.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to speak with you today, Chair and board members. I was just so excited because Saturday night at the Taste of Dania Beach, the Patch had a booth. Bianca and myself manned this booth, and we worked alongside the local businesses of Dania Beach, and we got to meet an enormous number of the community who were so excited to see the Patch back and better than ever. We had people approach us that wanted, from restaurants that are interested in doing some kind of partnership for locally sourced. And one of the things that I said over and over to our residents, and what they said back to me was really interesting. I said, our biggest supporters at the Patch are the board and the chair members, mayor and commissioners. They are our biggest support, and they are the reason that Dania Beach is lucky enough to have a valuable resource like the Patch. Over and over, neighbors said, this is why I love to live in Dania Beach. I am so proud to live in a city that cares about our health and our community. You know, I explained to them we're not trying to make money, we're trying to have a healthy community. And that meant so much to the people of Dania Beach. I also just wanted to mention how magnificent Dania Beach's Parks Department is and the event that they put on. And it's my first time working an event in Dania Beach, and the help that they provided to me was invaluable. And I really felt such a team spirit. I just wanted to share that excitement with you all because I feel excited by what I received back at that event from the community. So thank you so much for your continued support.
Thank you, Denise. Appreciate that feedback.
Thank you. We had a number of programs that are underway by the Fruitful Fields. Over the holidays, they had their Holiday Around the World program where they celebrated 3 versions of Christmas and the holidays. And there were probably about 25 or 30 people that showed up for that, which was nice. It wasn't an overwhelming crowd, but it was a nice attendance. And I spoke with a young woman with her young kids who came all the way from Coral Springs because we offered a Jewish program for celebrating Christmas. And she was so thankful that we were doing that, and she said she would be a more frequent visitor from Coral Springs. I also ran into a lot of neighbors who actually are visiting the Patch for the first time. Talk about having been there, down the block for a couple of years, and they finally have seen things happening, and they want to see what's going on. And so they are attending these events at the Patch. The C.W. Thomas Park is still bringing their kids, through the December holidays, they were bringing their kids. They were bringing about 30 kids a day to the Patch for their after-school program on Wednesdays. The Fresh Food Box is alive and active. We're trying to take orders and provide people a good value for kind of prepaying for produce in a box. It actually goes from December to April. And for $20, every 2 weeks, you pick up a box with a load of produce. And I can tell you, in the past, when I've subscribed to this, I have never finished a box in a week before I had to go pick up the next one. It's a very good deal on produce. The adult internship program is still underway with the Fruitful Fields. That is a paid internship program. It's being paid from a USDA grant after getting in a threshold number of hours. each participant gets a check for $1,000. And there's a Veterans and Youth with Special Needs Agriculture Assistance Program that's also active by the Fruitful Fields. It is important to note that Florida International University has approved the patch as their Broward County Program Center. So when FIU does agricultural programs in Broward County, they're doing them at the patch. And the grant that I mentioned for the adult internship program, that money is being provided by FIU through their grants. On Saturday the 11th, they had an entrepreneurs market. This is the economic development side of the patch. It's basically trying to attract crafts and home-based businesses to open their opportunities to market their products and so forth in kind of the farmer's market environment that's offered by the patch. So people can go and not only get farm and produce, but also odd and end crafts and so forth that you won't be able to find in the normal run-of-the-mall store. Love Our Nation has been very active at the patch. They had their success luncheon. It basically was a recognition luncheon for their supporters and participants. I can note that Chair Davis received an award for that, as did Member Ryan was recognized by the Love Our Nation that day. I was very impressed with that. There were over 50 people that attended that lunch. There was actually a crowd at the patch, and it was very nice to see. The Love Our Nation Earth to Table program continues. They have 12 to 15 kids a day for those types of things going on. And they're still continuing their senior fruit and veggie bicycle distribution program, where basically they use the kids. They get the kids accustomed to getting on the phone and calling people to say, we have something for you, can we bring it to you? And they're calling the seniors, and then the Love Our Nation helps get the kids. In fact, the ideal thing is the kids ride their bicycles and deliver a box of produce to the seniors that they've called. I also found something out that I found very interesting. These programs, we talked about the Love Our Nation kids programs and so forth, and then we talked about the Fruitful Fields and the Grove City Youth Program. I found out that we have kids in our neighborhoods who are graduating through these programs. So kids that have spent a couple of years in the Love Our Nation kids program are now part of the Fruitful Fields Grove City Youth Program. It's a very interesting succession of graduation that's happening with programs at the patch. With that, that's my admin report.
Thank you so much, Director Chen, for that thorough report. At this time, we have presentations, but there are none, so we will move on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Board Member Llewellyn?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. All right, the consent agenda passes. We will move on to our bids and proposals. Item 6.1, which is an agreement with Rebuilding Together Broward County for the at-home Dania Beach Safe at Home program. So, Director Chin, would you like to invite your guests?
Thank you. I can tell you that representing Rebuilding Together is Robin and Rita, in case you have any questions. But let me just give you a brief description of the Safe at Home program. We described it to you during the budget workshop. This is a totally new program for the CRA, and the idea is it's kind of complementary and goes hand in glove with the At-Home Dania Beach Home Beautification Program, which has been a success for many years. The Home Beautification Program is basically the exterior painting and landscaping side. The Safe at Home side is helping people to better adjust and stay safer in their homes as they age. It's things like smoke detectors and ADA accessibility and GFIs and so forth to help people age better in their home to where their homes will serve them longer as they age in comfort and safety. There was a lot of conversation about it. I will tell you, we have included in this the agreement on this that actually provides definition that was based on the conversations that occurred during our budget discussion. I will just briefly describe to you, it actually is divided, the work is divided into 3 tiers. The first tier is the most simple things. It's when Rebuilding Together calls on a house and they see from basically the front door that there's some help that's needed on the inside, whether it's smoke detectors or something like that. It is a very simple, very quick repair type of thing that is, total cost is under $1,000. Under this contract, we are giving Rebuilding Together the authority to just go ahead and implement that repair with no additional approval from the CRA. For programs that are a little bit larger, such as the from $1,000 to $3,000, that is a larger repair, and that requires pre-written approval from the CRA director. If it's up to $4,000, they have to tell me why it's a worthwhile project and is worth a substantial amount of that annual budget that's going toward this program. For bigger repairs, over $4,000, they are actually required to submit a request to the CRA board for approval of the project before they begin it. So for projects that have more expense to them, that would eat more of the annual budget that's allocated to this program, they have to get pre-approval for them to move forward on this. That is all defined in the agreement that's attached. And hopefully that, I think it was structured off as I remember our discussions and your concerns as we had in the budget meeting. And with that, I'll leave it to your discussion.
Do we have any discussion from the board on this item? Let's see if you have questions. Board Member Ryan.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I knew that we were preparing this contract with Rebuilding Together, and that was the number that we came to agreed upon, right? It was 50,000, and that's just for fiscal year. It's just for 2025.
That's correct.
Okay. I know that we were discussing the possibility of possibly increasing the services.
To 75.
Yeah, to 75,000, but we came to 50,000.
We put 50,000 into the budget. I thought it would be good to give this a test run as a pilot program.
Okay.
And if it works and you're interested, we can always come with a budget amendment to increase it.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that we went over that we discussed this before possibly raising it up. But yeah, 50,000 for a test run sounds good to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Ryan. Anybody else? Do I have a motion to approve? Board Member Ryan,
Motion.
do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Vice Chair. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say nay. All right, item 6.1 passes. Moving on to item 6.2, we have the agreement with Rebuilding Together. You guys are popular this evening for the at-home Dania Beach Residential Beautification Program. Director Chen?
Thank you. This is actually a contract. It's a new contract for the services that Rebuilding Together has been providing to the CRA for many years. I thought it would be good for these two contracts to run coincidental with each other so that every year as we get to a renewal, we can discuss both sides of the program at the same time. So what we would do is that This would be, your approval of this agreement would lead to an early termination of their existing agreement. We'll pay out the remaining balance of any work they performed, and then we'll start a new contract starting from this one. And they will have the two programs where the contracts have a due date that are coincidental to each other.
Thank you, Director Chin. Do we have any discussion on this item from the board? I see Board Member Ryan.
Thank you, Chair. If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to approve.
Have a motion from Board Member Ryan. I have
Discussion.
we have discussion. Vice Chair has some discussion. Go ahead, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to clarify that you want to end the contract that's existing now and pay off whatever we have whatever they're out there. Is what's left in that?
Last I saw, I think they've done 20 homes out of the 40 in the contract, so we pay them out for the homes that have been completed.
So the remainder of the money that was set aside for those 20 homes goes back into.
It would go back to the
Okay.
line.
And how much was last year's program?
We're allocating $120,000 a year for the exterior beautification.
That's what we did last year.
That's correct.
So basically, we're only adding $60,000 to this year because you're going to carry 60,000 over.
Well, for 2025, we did an entire $120,000.
2024?
So we'll retire the purchase order early from last year's contract, which will release the $60,000 that's not obligated.
Right.
And it'll go back into our budget.
That's what I said. I said you're taking half the money and putting it
Oh,
over.
I'm sorry.
So it's
I
basically,
misunderstood.
we're only putting 60 more thousand in.
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was trying to get to.
We are saving that money.
Okay. With that, I'll make a second.
I have a motion and a second from Vice Chair. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. All right, item 6.2 passes. Moving on to discussion and possible action, we have item 7.1, a 6-month extension for the real-time market agreement. Thank you, Rebuilding Together, Broward. We look forward to working with you in the future. Appreciate it.
The real-time marketing agreement, it is a contract that we bring to you every year. It expires in January. We did not bring to you the renewal of that contract exactly. We're bringing to you a contract extension, which is a 6-month extension. And the reason that we're not looking to renew the contract is because we're in the process of totally revamping the scope of work. With the kind of resources and expertise that Crystal is bringing to the table, to the money we invested and the main CRA website being totally updated, we don't need we don't need this contract to any longer maintain or assist with that. We still need their services, but it's going to be substantially cut back. Currently, their monthly fee is, I think, $2,400. And basically, I'm hoping to cut this back to about $1,200 to $1,500 a month based on our new scope of work. In the meantime, we need their services until we can run the RFP and get the new agreement and new vendors possibly out there.
Thank you, Director Chin. Do we have any discussion from the board? And I see that we do from Board Member Llewellyn.
Thank you, Chair. So what do we need their services for the next 6 months?
Well, one of the things they do keep track of is they do maintain the patch website. And I'd expect, in fact, I hope in February or March to start an update of the patch website. It needs to be done just like the CRA's website did. But until we do that, in the meantime, we need help because it constantly needs updating and maintenance because of its age and its structure. That's part of it. And then the other part of it is a social media component that comes with this service that's part of this.
So is any part of that something that can be done in-house through whether it's CRA or through city staff?
In fact, we're planning to take a lot of the social media side and so forth out of it when we do the rewritten scope of work. And in fact, the work associated with the main CRA website will no longer be part of the scope of work. We will probably have some ongoing maintenance of the patch website to maintain a calendar of events and that type of stuff on that website.
I'm just not understanding why we need a 6-month extension if it's something that we could be doing now.
I actually
Doesn't
have
seem like it's
hopes.
that much.
Yeah, actually, I have hopes of being able to do the scope of work and initiate an RFP perhaps in the next couple of weeks. If we get the responses back, we'll terminate the extension early.
I'm done. Thanks.
Thank you, Board Member. I think we have comments from Vice Chair.
I was just going to mention what Board Member Llewellyn said. The 6-month extension, it can go month to month. You don't have to run it out.
In fact, with 10 days' notice, we can terminate it anytime.
Okay, after that, I make a motion.
I have a motion from Vice Chair. Do I have a second? I have a
Second.
second from Board Member Ryan. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, then we have item 7.1 that passes. We have no information items this week, so we will move on to board member comments, and we will start with Board Member Llewellyn.
I'm going to reserve my comments for the commission meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Llewellyn. We will move on to Board Member Ramoli.
Director Shen, hi. Good evening. I had a question about the blue dye. Is that what it was called, blue dye?
It's called Blue Dot.
Dot,
Yes.
sorry, I heard the dye. So they're going to provide a list to you through
Yes.
Google. I'm curious as to why wouldn't we start with our current city staff using business licenses as a vehicle to give you a list of businesses here in our city?
It has been my experience that business licenses, city business licenses are not a comprehensive list.
In what way? Explain to me. So I
We
can
don't
understand.
actually send an enforcement team out to get businesses to sign up. It's more of a voluntary thing. We do have a lot of businesses that sign up, which is great. But basically, I'm seeing that this list will be a resource to the finance department because they'll have a list of businesses and they can tell what the business that we have that aren't paying those fees.
Okay, so is there going to be any kind of cross-referencing done of,
It'll be a list that's available to us, and I expect to share it. In fact, I'd have always expected to share this with finance. They need this to go with their business licenses side.
so I think the number one thing that I've always wondered about the CRA from the outside looking in, now being a brand new board member, is do we have a plan in place to put people on the ground and our staff on the ground visiting these businesses, introducing our services to them? What are we doing also to create new opportunities for new businesses to come to Dania Beach with all of our empty spaces that we have in downtown especially? What sort of idea and programs are we thinking of to increase that?
Actually, we do have, that is one of the primary responsibilities of our business manager.
Okay.
She will be doing regular calls on those businesses. Another dimension she'll bring to that, as I mentioned, she is a social media advocate. In addition to going and talking with our businesses, letting them know that they have a friend in City Hall, that we have an advocate here, she will also do social media posts on the calls she makes and start promoting our businesses online.
In terms of recruitment, I guess, is what I'm thinking about as well, with the landlords, obviously with having empty spaces. We have new apartments that have empty spaces below that were retail spaces. Are we working at all with them on trying to recruit new business to fill those spaces?
Actually, there is a new company in town that is doing exactly that. Their business is to find the space that's maybe not posted in the MLS and so forth, and actually work to proactively market the unused or underutilized spaces. And in fact, they have a meeting, I think, next week, and I'm registered to attend to see what they're doing. I tell you, I met them at the Chamber's Business Leads Lunch last week.
Okay.
But yes, we're aware of this, and we're very much interested in being active with them to see if we can help support that.
Okay.
Is that all? Thank you, Board Member Ramoli. Next, we have Board Member Ryan.
Thank you. Okay, thanks for the updated report. The website looks good, it does. I was able to go through it, and I was able to go through the patch website through the CRA website as well. Patch website seems okay. You know, you can still sign up to get what you need, get the produce, and it does have the programming. It could be updated a little bit.
Yes.
But for the most part, it looks solid. You know, if I gave any critique on the CRA website, you know, the design's great, that's all fine. Just maybe on the homepage, you could direct visitors more to the incentives that are provided by the CRA. I know that you have an incentive tab for it, but somebody has to look. So maybe like just a brief about in like 3 or 4 sentences up top, because I know it starts describing the city of Dania Beach. So, you know, that's all. That would be my only critique, just to direct the visitors a little more of what the CRA can do for them within the city.
Thank you. I appreciate that observation. We'll do something with that.
Okay, perfect. All right, no further comment.
Thank you, Board Member Ryan. And Vice Chair Salvino.
Oh, boy, you're going to get it now. Actually, Board Member Ramoli brought up one of the points I was going to talk about with the new, you hired new people, and about the new businesses so on. I think maybe a minor report that, you know, who you've called on, what the you know, reception you receive with people, and, you know, if there's anything new coming, just, it shouldn't take long for you to do that, to let us know that they are out there, just more or less a trail.
In fact, I would look forward to having an economic development section of this monthly report for you. And that would be a report on the business called upon and what we found, and any observations or any comments we receive as to how we could assist people to be more successful.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that, you know, we had discussion about when you hired other persons, that would be something that we'd be out there doing again. And I haven't heard that in the update, and I know it's after the first year. So if we could maybe start something like that and bring it up once a month and give us just an update.
We will do that.
Yeah, thank you. That's all my comments.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I will keep my comments limited, but I will say, and I'm going to say it in the commission meeting as well, the Dania After Dark was an absolutely amazing event, and the patch, I was so glad to see that they had so many visitors and the enthusiasm that there is a new vigor around the patch. And having attended those events, you have to get your homemade card there, board member, because it is a nice award from Love Our Nation. It is the most people, the most community interest and a lot of community engagement at the patch for the first time that I have seen since I've been here. So that was one of the things that we've tasked, and very happy to see that. I'm also happy to see the CRA engaged in going out more in the community. I've seen you at the chamber events, and with the addition of Crystal, our business manager, I think that you finally have somebody who can help elevate the visibility of the patch out here with our businesses, and really attract new businesses. I am really interested in that business attraction program that you're talking about, because we do have a lot of empty spaces that I think that we really need to be focused on filling. There's a lot of people, every time that I go out in the community, people want to come to Dania Beach. This is a very highly sought after location for businesses, and if we can market it properly, I think that we can do some great work and see some great results here in 2025. So with that, that will be my comments, and meeting adjourned.
Thank you.